Coming up on City Spotlight, Season 11 continues with another 2 community episode. First, we're back up in Urbana as we talk to the new mayor of Urbana, DeShawn Williams. We'll learn about DeShawn and his journey to becoming Urbana's new mayor. And we'll learn about some of DeShawn's goals for Urbana, including improving the Philo Road area. Then we head down to Arcola as we talk with Arcola Mayor Jesus Garza and Arcola City Administrator Bill Wagoner. Jesus and Bill will get us caught up on the latest public works and economic development in Arcola, including insight and when the new Broom Palace might open in downtown Arcola. We're talking 2 communities on this latest Season 11 episode of City Spotlight as we feature Urbana and Arcola here on City Spotlight.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we're on location as we continue the second half of Season 11. And this is a 2 community episode. We're going to start back in Urbana, back at Urbana City Hall on May 22nd, 2025, and we welcome another mayor to the program. We are pleased to be back in Urbana with the new mayor of Urbana, DeShawn Williams. DeShawn, pleasure to be here and great to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited, looking forward to this interview.
Great to be back in Urbana City Hall interviewing the new mayor of Urbana. We're going to learn all about DeShawn here in this first taping with him. And let's start right there. DeShawn, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm DeShawn Williams, the 51st mayor of the city of Urbana. Awesome. I am a husband to my beautiful wife, Tracy. We've been married now 11 years, awesome. Coming up on year 12 here in June. We're father of 2. I have a 10-year-old son named Austin and a 5-year-old daughter, Skylar. So community member, husband, friend, family, all of the above. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Great to have you on again.
Yes,
and as you said, the 51st mayor of Urbana. 2 weeks ago, you were officially became the mayor of Urbana. So what prompted you to run for the position of mayor here in the city of Urbana?
Yeah, that's a great question. We talked a bit, before, and I've always had, a servant's heart. That's something that my family, my parents in particular, they instilled in me at an early age. This was just a couple of conversations, with folks that, really brought it to my attention. One comment that was made said, DeShawn, you are already, out and about and, public facing. You do a lot of the community work. Why not continue to do some of that and do it on a broader scale, and have a piece of, changing folks' lives, for the better on a bigger scale in a sense. And, that ultimately, is what prompted me to at least entertain the thought, and just having this opportunity to help serve my community.
Tell us about some of your previous experiences before running for mayor and how they may have helped you get ready for this new position.
Yeah, so most recently I was the chief deputy treasurer for Champaign County, and that was my first, real public, facing job from a government standpoint. But it allowed for me to kind of be behind the scenes, right, and see the ins and outs of the things that one of the things that impact families the most, right. They say there's two guarantees in life, and that's death and property taxes, and death and taxes, and that was one of the things that in that space I was really able to get an understanding of just how things work from a governing standpoint. Prior to that, I was in the financial industry. So, I spent well over 16 years, in the financial industry. As I was vice president for, over retail for one of our, financial institutions here in Illinois. And it was there that I was, able to essentially help folks even more so, with their daily, financial decisions and help folks achieve dreams that they didn't know were, possible in a sense. And I think that, it was just one of those things where unconsciously in those moments, I didn't realize that I was setting myself up for today, right? I helped finance some of the community's, favorite restaurants and businesses, while in the banking world. And again, wasn't looking at what the future could bring, but in hindsight, I understand why and how those things took place. So it truly prepared me for for this moment in time today, and I'm grateful for those experiences.
So I'm hearing from you, a lot of your experiences have been with the financial aspect of things, and that's a big part. And there's a lot of aspects and areas that you have to dabble in being a mayor of a city. But finances are certainly a key component, as we talked before we hit the record button.
Correct.
Budgets and working out the dollars that go from here to there. How do you think that's a key area of being of a mayor is the financial aspect?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel blessed in the sense that I have that experience, right? Because now as we are finalizing the budget and things of that nature, it's not a piece of paper with a bunch of just scramble, right? I understand the concept of what needs to take place. I understand what it looks like to ensure that we are financially healthy, not just for today but for the future. Due to my experience and time, within the banking world. So it was, again, not thinking what it would do for me in those moments, but fast forward to today, it makes perfect sense.
So you've been mayor of Urbana a couple of weeks now, first part of May, as we're taping here on May 22nd, so a couple of weeks ago. What was that moment like when you were sworn in?
It was surreal. It was... I still have moments where I pinch myself every now and again. To have my family there, my wife, my kids, to have them on stage, with me in that moment, it was something that you can't plan this stuff, right?
Yes.
And I think that I still have moments of disbelief. But it also, there was a moment at that time when I looked out into the audience, and one of our community organizations, they brought a group of kids, to the event, and it was just in that moment I realized this is bigger than me. This is bigger than right now. This is preparation for the future for a lot of those young folks out in that audience. So it's been amazing, and this is an honor of a lifetime.
You have a pretty strong presence on social media. I've seen a lot of the photos and things that you've been leading up to becoming mayor, and then obviously that moment. We've shared a few of those images, and saw you with now former Urbana Mayor Diane Wolf Marlin, who we interviewed on this program. We thank her for her time. And did she give you any advice about maybe not necessarily being mayor of Urbana, but being a mayor, and any advice moving forward?
She did. She actually gave me a really vital piece of information. She told me to ensure that I took time to myself, and she expounded on that because she knew that I had 2 young kids. She knew that I, was fairly, young in my marriage, 11 years, in that space. But she told me to ensure that I took time, for my family, and that I didn't lose sight of that. And I'll be honest with you, that was probably the best and greatest piece of advice that I could have received from her, because oftentimes I know myself well enough to know that I will get lost in the work and wanting to ensure that I do any and everything possible throughout the day so that I don't have to look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done more of this. In the midst of that work, we can lose sight of the things that matter most, and that's our family. So for her to tell me to ensure that I take that time and really, spend that time, don't be afraid to spend the time with my family. That was vital information, and I appreciate her for that.
Always need to be able to share that behind the scenes of transition from leadership position, whether in education or at the city level. Very good. Yeah. Moving forward, we look forward to talking specifics with you on this program. We'll do that at a later date, but Got about 5 minutes left. I know you could probably talk the whole 25 minutes of this episode.
Sure thing.
What are some of your goals, short or long term, for Urbana?
Sure. So the short-term goal right now, as I said, earlier, we are adding the finishing touches to our budget, which that will be my first major, presentation.
That's a pretty big thing.
It's a pretty big thing, right? So, and understanding that, I won't make everyone happy, but, I think it'll, the decisions around that will be, in the best interest of the community and things of that nature moving forward. So that's a pretty big deal. After that, we are, we're in the process of bringing in a new city administrator, which is another, pretty
Very
big deal. I was fortunate to have gotten past all of my reappointment requests, that we put into play last week, and I was very encouraged by that. So there's a few, bigger projects that we're, looking to take care of in the immediate.
Right.
As far as long term and even whether it's more important.
Maybe something that, as you ran for mayor, that you stated several times that this is my vision for Urbana.
Yeah. So we're going to put a lot of focus and attention on the redevelopment of Philo Road. That is something that is definitely been on the minds of a lot of people within the community, which understandable. As we've seen, there's been a number of closures. I think we're up to 6 business closings, within the last year for sure. So there's going to be a lot of attention and focus put on that, on redeveloping that, and that's going to take us being in those communities and just getting input from the community and understanding what it is that they're wanting, their community to look like, their neighborhood to look like, moving forward. So, we're going to really bring that collaborative approach and the mindset, back to the community again, and I'm eager and looking forward to it. So.
Been on Philo Road many times, know exactly what you're talking about, and definitely an area of Urbana that could use some growth.
Sure thing.
We probably have a couple minutes left, and I left this as kind of as a bonus question. In the last handful of days leading up to our taping here on May 22nd. Urbana is getting some money back via a grant, almost $2.5 million. What might that money be used for moving forward?
So, we're extremely excited about this opportunity. Angela Bradley, she is a community member who will essentially be a part of the development of a new grocery store in one of our areas that has been determined as a food desert. So that those funds are actually going to go to the building of that new grocery store in our Ward 3 area, which we're extremely excited. This is a win for the city of Urbana. It's a win for our community, and I couldn't think of a better person to kind of be leading the way in that. So. Extremely excited. There's going to be a lot more information and input coming in, as we get closer to that time.
Those are the kinds of questions we'll talk about moving forward,
Yes,
specific
indeed.
things. So
Yes,
I thought
indeed.
if I put it on there, maybe we could get a little insight onto something exciting coming to Urbana
Nice
moving
segue
forward.
to our next interview.
All right.
So.
DeShawn Williams, the new mayor of Urbana, thank you for your time coming on City Spotlight. We
appreciate
look
you.
forward to many more times down
Thank
the road.
you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll change locations and communities as we'll catch up on the latest going on in Arcola. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities in the communities of Urbana and Arcola. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this new two-community episode. We've traveled down from Urbana back down to Arcola as we tape here on May 20th. We're back at a familiar spot, Arcola City Hall. We welcome back to the program two familiar guests. First, the Mayor of Arcola, Jesus Garza. Jesus, great to have you on a second time.
Yeah, nice to again have you here again.
Always a
The
pleasure to
second
come to
time.
Arcola. Yes, very good. And Bill Wagoner, Arcola City Administrator. Bill, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
Awesome. Again, we're taping here at Arcola City Hall in middle of spring 2025. And again, Jesus, great to have you back on. A second time for you. First time was the 50th Broomcorn Festival.
That's correct.
A little bit quieter in here than the last time we taped.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So 4 years as mayor of Arcola. How's it all gone for you?
My experience has been I think it's been nice for me. It's a lot of learning experience for the last 4 years. I feel more comfortable right now. I have a great help. Bills teach me a lot of good things, for helping the community, and I learning basic need to be. I'm of those persons say I need to get stuff done now, and I learning that we need to be everything second time, and then it's great. I mean, great opportunity for me to learn in the right way to run in a city with him.
So you've done a lot of learning. Tell me something that you've learned about the community as you've been mayor of the last 4 years. You probably already know the community very well, but probably having the perspective as mayor, you probably learned a few things about the community.
I learning about the city need a lot of help. The community need a lot of help too, and it's a nice learning experience for me to hear all the community, to hear all the problems we have with that's a really good learning experience.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Glad to have you on. Glad to have Bill on again. And let's learn about the latest going on in Arcola. And let's start with Public Works. We're taping here in May. Springtime, Public Works crews, as we've talked about in our recent episodes, busy, getting things done. And let's talk about new things going on in Arcola. And let's talk about recently here at the end of April, new dog park.
Yeah, so we partnered with the local Rotary Club and got a grant from the Rotary Foundation to build the dog park. It's about 8,000 square feet. It's turned out really great. It's a good space for people to get out with their dogs and socialize their animals and people in general.
It's located at the city park.
It's at the city park, convenient parking. We've got a couple new benches that are getting ready to go in, so it's all coming together.
Some of the visuals we've shared from the Arcola Chamber look like a great turnout, canine and human.
Yes, it was an excellent turnout.
Yep.
Also nearby, on May 8th, there was a dedication of the Arcola baseball field.
Yes, we dedicated the field in honor of Edwin Dale Buxton. 35 years ago we didn't have a baseball program, and Ed moved to the community and with his son Dale and really put that back together for the school and brought back the softball program. So they were really instrumental in our high school and baseball and sports in general. So it was a good honor for them. And we recognize some local community members that have helped over the years. Joe Marks and his family. Joe passed away, but his wife was here. Ed Fiddler was present. It was good to see him. And then Randy Williams and several others have been really key components of baseball and softball in Arcola. So it was good to have everybody back.
So the dog park opening, dedication of the Arcola baseball field looked like beautiful days. We've been sharing some photos courtesy of the Arcola Chamber. Also, I noticed on the Arcola Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, which does a great job of covering everything going on with Arcola, you have some new housing in Arcola.
Yeah, so Tabling Development out of Mahomet is building, they finished construction on their apartment complex at Green Mill Village. Okay. So there's 12 units of 3 and 2 bedroom units, and once those are kind of leased up to a certain level, they're going to build 4 duplexes. So a total of 20 units on the lot between the hotel there and Carriage Crossing.
Okay, I noticed that driving in. I took 133 to come to Arcola today. I think I saw it there correctly over by Green Mill Village. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the downtown economic development. And if you've been through Arcola recently, you've noticed there's a new gigantic structure here just nearby next to the City Hall. And it's the Broom Palace, not the original one from all those years ago, but the Broom Palace. And this facility is up, not quite ready to open. There's some road work going on. Just tell about this grand project that's been going on here in downtown Arcola.
Well, this project started with Pat Monahan. He started raising money with this, and I think it's be a great opportunity to bring in more tourists to into the downtown, and I hope the project is done pretty soon. But they finished the details. I walked in last week on that building. It started looking great inside.
I look forward to seeing what it looks like inside. Just on the outside, it looks like a castle.
Yes.
That's pretty much
it's
palace castle.
Yeah.
Now, remind folks at home that maybe haven't come through Arcola in a long time. This is up in a spot where there used to be a nice set of buildings. Obviously, there was that facility area that the buildings kind of came down. So you've repurposed the land for that. So what was up there previously?
So that was the Metropolitan Block, and you remember several years ago that one end of it fell down, and then the building kind of just kept falling down as it went along there. So the city ultimately acquired all the properties, took the building down, and now we've got repurposed for the palace to go back, and then we're going to create a little event space over here. We've got our start on it with our Arcola letters out front there, and as we finish up the sidewalks and the downtown intersection, we'll start then on the park area, and that'll be open. Everything should be ready for unveiling, I guess, by Broomcorn.
Appropriate time to have it open. Let me ask you guys early thoughts on what it will provide for the community right in the heart of Arcola.
I think it'll be great. We're going to move our visitor center from the depot there. There's certain amenities. We just don't have public restrooms at the depot. And so we'll have fully ADA accessible restrooms and the visitor center. Then upstairs will be a museum. The museum we used to have downtown, the Raggedy Ann Museum, will kind of repurpose the area in the second floor. And then the first floor will be kind of an audio video area where we'll have videos about Arcola and then Broomcorn specific. And then Libman's will have a small outlet store in there.
Jesus, what a gigantic addition to the community.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's going to be a great. We have a retail store for. I mean, everybody can buy the suppliers, for the house and all that. And second floor, the museum. I mean, the third floor is going to be like an open space for that way people can see the great Arcola,
And yeah, a lot. Notice the flags, the purple rider flags on the top as I park next door. It's like right next door. So if you guys can't come to work without seeing it every day.
Yeah.
And the gigantic Arcola in front. So what a shiny new addition to the community. Look forward to checking it out when it opens. Anything else economic development that you can speak of since the last time? It's been a little while since we've taped with you guys. Anything recently added or moving forward?
In the spring, we're putting together a workshop with Douglas County Economic Development, and it's going to be an entrepreneur level course. So we're kind of modeling it by Monticello's boot camp, and I think it's a good opportunity for Arcola and Tuscola to work together to provide coaching to the local entrepreneurs that are wanting to start their business but don't know how, or they've started a business and need to scale up. So we'll teach them all the skills that they need and start pairing them with resources that are available to help them grow their business. And hopefully we'll plant some seeds for people to come back downtown. We've had some new businesses open the last couple of years, and the entrepreneurship in the Hispanic community is very strong. I think Jesus can attest to that.
Yes,
some of our more recent additions have been, and I'll mess the name up, but Jose's Ice Cream Shop is just wonderful.
La Michoacana is one of the last one. He opened it. I mean, he's closing for winter time last year, but he planning to stay open all year long. Then he's going to create more menu on that. Now he's got a delivery. You can call and, hey, we deliver for you now. He's improving the service for our community, and I think it'd be a great idea,
And Sandra at the bakery is just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Her and her husband have done great work. They're an anchor institution for our downtown. They draw people in from hundreds of miles for their products. So that's been really exciting to see them succeed from a small kitchen in their house to there.
Yeah,
so.
they come in people from Peoria and that's different places, Indy, Terre Haute, everywhere. I mean, to buy the unique bread, sweet bread, they make it there.
I've asked Bill this question many times, so I'll get your thoughts on this. Jesus, I've talked many times on this program about Arcola became a destination for people to come, and there's just, again, more things you guys are doing that make people want to come to Arcola. It's not just Broomcorn Festival. There's a lot of other things that are a draw to come to Arcola.
Yeah, we have a lot of we have the splash pad. I mean, we remodeled the park, the Moore Park, almost 80% already. I mean, and it's great for that community. I mean, I'm very excited last year see the Amish community coming enjoying the splash pad.
Nice.
You never see that on the past, and that's a great, I feel so excited when I passing to my house because I live that end, and I see driving my car and I see the people there and enjoying it. This is great. I mean, I feel very, very comfortable and excited about all the communities joined together. Hispanic, Amish, and American community all enjoying together.
Great culture in Arcola.
Yeah, it is. Great.
Very good. I want to piggyback off something I saw, Bill. I noticed you're very active on LinkedIn. And I see some of your posts, and I want to kind of get maybe some elaboration from both of you on this. All of this work, these projects that we've talked about so far in the last 10 minutes, these projects are a testament to Arcola's dedication to growth and community engagement.
We've been very focused for a long time on doing good work for our community, and people don't necessarily see those things because we just don't tell our stories very well. And we've kind of jumped on board with that, trying to get more information out. Media's moved from waiting for the newspaper to cover something, and you've seen that. And we don't get on TV a whole lot. We're not covered a lot in the News Gazette or Channel 3 or any of these other outlets. And that's
You've
fine.
been on this program a few times.
WIU is deep in my heart. They take care of us.
But you're right. Things have changed in the last 10 years of this program.
Yeah.
Different forms of media, the chamber, Cassie Yoder, they have one of our former students. There's just so many different ways and media outlets. So you're right. There's an avenue for media, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think just kind of getting those stories out, and it's also been good for us to seek new investment in our community. People see that we're active and we're doing things and want to be a part of that. So it's been twofold. One, it's good to tell our story, but two, it's good to get more people involved in what we're doing.
Hey, Susan, any thoughts on Bill's comment about the testament to Arcola's growth and engagement?
Well, I'm with Bill with that. What he said, it is great. I mean, and I agree with him about we need to get more people involved to passing what's all the inside of the Arcola we have, and this be. And I think more people enjoying and then more people coming to see what's going on inside the unique Arcola. I think it'd be great to do that.
I see a board over here. It looks like you guys had some big meetings, and there's some events listed here that we've had on the screen prior to the taping of this. And Bill, you told me that Jesus can tell me about this Children's Day coming up here in June 8th.
Yeah, June 8th. I mean, we're gonna have this is the number 4. We have the Children's Day every year. They keep going. We have a lot of good sponsors. They donate money for create this event, and I have a group that volunteer. My wife is the one number. She's my boss, she's on me all the time. Bill can confirm that,
She's my boss that day too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, sometimes, yeah. But we're doing a great team, and I always told Bill, as long as we're working together, we have a great team, we can make anything we want on this community.
Well, as my other producer comrade at WEIU, Lacey Spence, says, teamwork makes the dream work. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jesus Garza, Bill Wagoner from the city of Arcola. Gentlemen, pleasure to tape with you here in Arcola. Look forward to coming back for the grand opening of the Broom Palace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that'll do it for this latest City Spotlight episode featuring 2 communities, Urbana and Arcola. Thanks for watching.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.